Aha! I'm live. Okay, I hope my internet holds up tonight. I was trying to I was trying an experiment to get it to work better, and oh god, that might have just worked. It wasn't working. I had a Wi-Fi signal booster. Hey there, Gamer Freak. I had a Wi-Fi signal booster and it wasn't booting up, and I got sick of waiting and I went live, and just after I went live it worked. Hi Connor, I am well, thank you, Gamer Freak. And Connor, we're ready to go for another live chat. I haven't done one for a little while, since last Thursday, I think so. Rose, so many things have in fact happened in the world. And hello to you too, Northern Lights and Nicholas. Hello from Canada. Hello to Canada. It's just Pepsi tonight with a bit of lemon juice in it. Being lemon season. Hi Celtic King. I'm fine. AJ's doing well. He's sent me some video that I've got to edit. I will get around to at some point. And my family are all well. Thank you for asking. How's things in your world, everyone? Anything to report? Anything interesting, compelling, unnerving happening in your world? I mean, the world at large is, you know, going to hell. Thanks, Rose. I'm glad you like it. Not sure the colour. I was going to ask, is the colour going to be coming through at all? I put some purple hair colour in. Well, it's called Rosewood Violet. And my natural highlights, aka grey hair, have picked up all the colour. So, oh, that's good. I'm glad it should. Never sure, because with the resolution and the lighting on the camera, you don't always get true colour, as it were. So I didn't know. Okay, you can see it looks awesome. Thank you. Thank you. This is through a lot of experimentation, finding a colour that stays in my hair. None of the, you see those wild, crazy colours, you know, the blues and the greens and whatnot, all those wacky colours. They don't stay in my hair. My hair doesn't hold them. They wash out. They don't go. But this one stays like semi-permanent. Yes, Rose, you are right. Barnaby Joyce is in a bit of trouble. This must seem super strange to people outside Australia, because it seems pretty goddamn strange to people inside Australia. Part of our constitution is you cannot serve in the parliament if you are a citizen of any other country. So, Toby, you want to set up an angry shrine? You could do that. If you were born somewhere else, or if you've ever held citizenship somewhere else, if you've ever been a dual citizen, you have to renounce that foreign citizenship before you get into Parliament. Angry Aussie Clooney. Okay, geez, I'm down with that. Thanks. Is that Christofari? Connor, I agree. It's bizarre. I mean, I guess I get the gist of it. It's the, no, we can't have you, if we can't suspect that you may have sympathies with a foreign power, so you have to renounce your ties to any other country. And it started off, it caught a Greens senator, then a second Greens senator, then someone from the government, then someone else from the government. So right up to the Deputy Prime Minister has now actually been confirmed as a New Zealand citizen. So yikes. And yeah, that led to one of the stupidest ploys I've seen a politician try. Julie Bishop going, oh, Bill Shorten conspired with a foreign power to undermine the government. It's like stupid. Catherine, you raise a good point. How do you not know if you're dual citizen? Especially when you have to sign a thing before you sign up that says, like, yes, I've renounced any citizenship anywhere else. Apparently, there is a little bit of a grey area. And where this is because with some countries, there's not even a really formal thing that happens that says, you're not a citizen anymore. And some, I think, even don't accept when you say it. So I think the Constitution says you have to take reasonable steps to renounce your citizenship. And so there's this little grey area in, well, how much do you have to do? And that's what's catching people out. Like, we're up to like 6 people in the Parliament, either in the lower house or in the Senate, who've been caught up in this now. There's the 2 Greens who both resigned. Someone from the government who resigned from cabinet but not from Parliament. Malcolm Shitforbrains from One Nation is under threat. Now Barnaby Joyce is under threat. And it's just like, wow, this is bizarre. How did this weird sideshow happen? It is really strange. I mean, yeah, it's a bit of a hoot to see them all thrown into a panic. And you got Christopher Pyne trying to behave like an attack poodle, saying, oh no, there's people in the Labour Party with foreign-sounding names. They have to prove they're not dual citizens. And I don't think they have to prove it. I think you have to provide compelling evidence that they are. I don't think it works the other way. But especially not when you're just randomly picking people with funny sounding names. Oh my God! Celtic King, is that true? Our close personal friend here on the live stream, VD, was arrested for assaulting a cop and possession of cannabis? He's not getting into Mormon heaven, is he? He's really, really, really not getting into Mormon heaven. Ah, well, sad as life. Gamer Freak, the thing about North Korea threatening the US with a nuke. Well, North Korea is just being threatening generally. They've threatened that they have nuclear capability. They've threatened that they've got working missiles that can fly a long way. There's a lot that's unknown. But see, they don't even really need nukes or long-range missiles. It's in nobody's interest if they attack short-range targets, namely South Korea and Japan. Now, admittedly, idiots like Trump and his supporters may not think that's a big deal, but aside from that being a massive humanitarian crisis, if it happens, it would be crippling for the world's economy. Shit would go to hell really, really quickly. You are right, Catherine. Around the world, people are failing to take America seriously solely because Trump's president. Oh, musical elevator saw a bloody Julie Bishop ragging on New Zealand. Yeah, it's a bit worry. North Korea. See, Connor, it's very hard to know what's the truth in North Korea. They seem to not know anything about the outside world. They seem to be fed nothing but state propaganda and really, really friggin' weird state propaganda. They seem to not understand the outside world at all. It's all strange. Very cool, Tiki. Give me the update. Oh dear. Yes, okay. VD got A thrown out of the Mormon church. And so, but he still likes all their stuff. But now he's in trouble with the cops. Nathan, hello there. Politicians are far more exciting to hear than mines in Canada. Isn't anything interesting happening in Canada, Nicholas? But yeah, it's all very sort of politics generally. Our politics, I think, is just a bit weird. America's depressing. I mean, would it take 3 days for Trump to say Nazis and white supremacists were bad. Hello, Marxist Republican. It's like, really? And the funny thing is, he just looks so much worse. It's like, how could he not think that he was going to have to directly repudiate Nazis and white supremacists? You're going to have to do it. Just come right out and do it, even if you're lying, which he is lying. To wait for 3 days and be under constant pressure to do it. Now definitely nobody believes you. And so now you look doubly weak. You're too weak to stand up to Nazis, and then too weak to stand up to people saying you have to say something bad about Nazis. Oh God, Celtic King, gotta keep us updated on VD. See if we find out what happens after his arrest, if he has a court hearing, or if he gets incarcerated, the Bureau. Yeah, Heist. Trump's statement is very weird. But because he waited so long to do it, and he was directly applauded on one of the Nazi websites, the Daily Stormer, who got taken down by Anonymous apparently. But yeah, he was directly applauded on a Nazi website saying, oh, he's definitely on our side. He's given us the message. He's blamed the anti-Nazi protesters, said they're as bad. And now all they'll say is, oh, well, you know, the 3-day thing, we know he doesn't mean it. And they're right. All the white supremacists and Nazis will say, Trump didn't really mean that denunciation of us. He's really on our side. And they'll be right. There's no getting around it, that Trump is happy to have their support and Trump is happy to pander to them. You simply can't get around that. The evidence is too compelling. I don't see how people protecting Nazis from... I'm not exactly sure what you're saying there, Peter. I don't see how people protecting Nazis from marching on a black church as bad as literal fucking Nazis. Oh, Marxist Republican. Yeah, you're right. Trying to make sense of Trump will just hurt your brain because, I mean, he can't even string a sentence together. For a start, when you see him speaking and he can't do one coherent sentence, like the blah, 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 weird digression, blah, nonsense words, blah, 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 trail off with no resolution. Like in one sentence, he can't actually extemporaneously do one coherent sentence. It's really freaking disturbing. Oh, no, look, Peter, anyone who does that line about Antifa are as bad as the Nazis, they're just Nazi sympathizers. It's like, there's no two ways about it. You're right, Marxist Republican. It's a little bit circular with Trump. Can't hold a position, so talks around in circles and changes his position on things. And yeah, I think trying to make sense of Trump will just hurt your head. And yeah, probably not good for your mental well-being, quite honestly. So, yeah, looking at it, it is the most bizarre thing. Like, assuming we all continue to exist, you know, for a few decades at least, it's hard not to wonder how historians will view this. Like, you know, with the benefit of distance, I don't even need distance. Like, even before the election, it was blindingly obvious who and what Trump would be as a president. And that's bad. Bad, 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 bad. There is nothing Trump has said or done that's surprising. everything he said and done. I'm just going to adjust my tripod because I'm worried it's going to fall out the bench. Everything that Trump has said and done since the election is absolutely predictable. Yeah, that was an interesting one. What was that? Antifa would need to start his narrative against fascism with arms soon. Well, yeah. Look, I have to admit, the whole thing with America with guns and everyone having guns, I'm absolutely surprised there haven't been more shootings in some of these things. It's not like there's a shortage of people who, and I'm not even limiting this to one political persuasion, there's not a shortage of people with guns and aggressive attitudes in the US, is there? I mean, you look at, although it doesn't get much play, a lot of ultra-right people, particularly the ones who call themselves libertarians, they're shooting a lot of cops. It only gets media play if the shooter is a black person. Like the whole thing with one of the big marches where someone from a rooftop killed, was it 3 or 4 cops? You know, it was quite bad. And that got heaps of coverage. But if you look at the statistics over the last year or two, a lot of cops have been killed in the line of duty, and the vast majority of the shooters have been politically motivated white men. People who say, government can't tell me what to do. And that does not get much media play. And yeah, when you see those militia types showing up to protests with, you know, with their play soldier stuff, but real guns, it's mildly surprising there haven't been shootings. It's just waiting to happen, quite honestly. It'll be awful when it happens. And I do worry, like, America's on the verge of, you know, not civil war as such, but really, really, really bad civil unrest with lots of people getting killed. You look at, okay, going back to Trump, you look at it and you think he can't last. He can't last. There's too much against him. His incompetence, his criminality, his blatant pandering to racists. It's like he's being marginalized by his own party. And that's the telling sign. When you get all these people going, impeachment's going to happen. Oh yeah, we're going to fight. The resistance will get impeachment. Democrats can't impeach Trump. They don't have the numbers. Only Republicans can impeach Trump. And when you saw the number of Republicans, including arch conservatives like Ted Cruz, coming straight out of the gate on the weekend and saying these white supremacists and Nazis are scumfucks and have to be stopped, that was a whole parade of people who fucking hate Donald Trump seeing an opportunity to score points against him and going for it. That to me is signs of movements within Republican circles that they are putting serious thought into getting rid of Trump. Because then they'd have President Pence, and they fucking love Pence. He's part of the party machine. He's uber conservative. It'll be kind of funny when the loudmouth rowdy types who supported Trump end up with President Pence who wants to take away their pawn. And then if Attorney General Sessions hasn't been gotten rid of in the meantime, you'd have a president who wants to take away your pawn and an Attorney General who wants to take away your weed. And so all those frat boy types who are supporting Trump, you're going to be a bit less happy. The establishment would be really happy. And that's what concerns me. See, if the establishment gangs up on Trump, which they really fucking should, but if the establishment gangs up on Trump and impeaches him or puts so much pressure on him he resigns, that sort of real lunatic support base of Trump's will lose it. And they will be right when they say the establishment took away our guy. They will actually be correct. It's something that I believe should happen, but when they act like they're the wronged party and they've had their election stolen from them, they've had the guy they elected taken away by the establishment, they will be correct. And when people like that, unbalanced, violent people with access to weapons, feel they have been wronged and they represent a righteous cause, they are very, very, very dangerous. There are few things more dangerous in the world than someone who's stupid and wrong but full of righteous fury because there's nothing you can do about it. And I mean, even like, okay, Trump's old and obviously unwell. Mentally and physically, he's in terrible shape. He's the oldest president in yonks. In fact, wasn't he the oldest at inauguration? I have this funny feeling he's, if not the oldest, one of the oldest presidents at inauguration. And he's obviously in terrible shape. He's obviously got a degree of mental impairment. If he drops dead from the stress, which is, you know, reasonably likely, it would not be unheard of for an old man who's unfit and unwell to drop dead from stress. Again, the conspiracy nuts will just come out of the woodwork and be on about how he was poisoned and, you know, the Rothschilds were behind it. And again, you'd have this crazed reaction that would be super dangerous. Hi, Mike. I'm just talking about minor level Armageddon in the US. So, you know, while I think Trump should be gotten rid of, like he should be impeached, he is absolutely unfit to hold the office of president. And he's debased the office of president, and he's debased American life so badly, America may not recover. And I honestly don't think that's a good thing for the world. And I worry that things are just going to get worse. And he's just... But getting rid of him is going to make this lunatic base of his go, seriously go. You gotta go, Toby. Okay, bye. Yeah, I think a lot of people who are pushing for impeachment on Trump don't fully appreciate what the repercussions of that would be. Hello, Safa. So, yeah, I think the whole thing with Trump impeachment is a classic case of careful what you wish for because you might get it. And it might be more than you bargained for. Catherine, he is 70, yes. Yeah, well, Catherine, you say he says real. There's real and then there's real. Oh, my favourite story about him, not favourite in, I think it's good that he violently assaulted one of his wives, but yeah, he did, is documented, although, you know, then the wife signed a non-disclosure agreement, but he violently assaulted one of his wives because he had a surgery done, because he had a receding hairline, and he had a surgery done where his scalp was actually pulled forward. So they basically cut out a bit of skin hair and then pulled the scalp down and stitched it up. So his hairline's been pulled forward, and his wife had recommended the surgeon that did it, and it was more painful than he was expecting. I mean, you're getting your skin pulled tight, like that's not going to be painful. And yeah, so he violently assaulted her. But yes. Well, that is the sort of insight I would expect from someone with Marxist in their username. Wanting impeachment is like trying to cure a disease without eliminating the actual symptoms of capital itself. Why won't I get the 10-page letter from VD? Have they taken away his postage? Or when you said arrested, is he incarcerated? Is he in custody? Or is he, yeah, Catherine, but also, I mean, there's a dozen things you can do with hair that, you know, when it's real. Like, you know, the hair plug things they do, or the shampoo. Oh, Mike, you missed. Okay, this is I'm probably going to have to repeat this a dozen times because everyone's going to want to know. VD got arrested for assaulting a cop and marijuana possession. So, see it as a fever when it got elected, either run its course and the patient will get treated, realize how far it's full, or it dies. Tyrannical wolf. Well, that is one way of looking at it. But yes, there is the danger of blowing all of us up. So, you know, I really wouldn't want to wish complete collapse on the US because there's a lot of dangerous stuff there. Oh, yeah, Mike, but it is not what he preaches, but he's obviously completely disconnected from reality, and is that disturbing type who's disconnected from himself to the point where he doesn't realize how obviously false what he's saying is? Oh no, Bureau, definitely. Fuck the Nazis, fuck the Klan. It's always time to say those things. Look, this is can you see this? It's a little sombrero that was on the bottle of tequila I bought. I've been making flavored tequilas. Man, I'll have so much flavored tequila by the weekend. I'll probably have to drink some of it. So I've made some more chili tequila. I had leftovers of the two sorts of chili rock candy I had. So it's got the menthol chili and the other chili in there, and I also because I had some lemons, but the skins on the lemon were so beautiful and smooth and such a nice color. I peeled the rind, and I think the correct term is steeping, but I've got the lemon rind in a bottle of tequila. So I'm hoping to get silver tequila, so get some of the yellow color and some of the lemon flavor in the tequila. But that's a less, I guess, strong thing than doing it with lollies. So I'm going to leave it until the weekend, so it's had time to absorb the flavor. Roll in a quick J. You go, Marxist. Yeah, I mean, it's like it's funny. That VD got arrested for marijuana possession, but I agree that the prohibition laws on marijuana are fucking stupid. They're morally and medically indefensible. I'll be alright, guys. See, I'm going to have to say it a couple of times. Celtic King broke the news to us that VD got arrested for assaulting a cop and for marijuana possession. Although I didn't see if you answered the question, Celtic King, is he in custody or is he out on bail? Yeah, I know, it's in Bureau, you're right. Actually getting arrested for marijuana is bad. But from what it sounds like, he's only been charged for the marijuana because he got up to some shit with a copper, and it's like after they got him for being a dickhead, then they emptied his pockets and, you know, he had a joint or whatever, and so they've done him for that as well. Those are like people who behave badly when they're already breaking the law. I don't understand. You know, it's like if you're already doing, like if you're carrying drugs or you've got something stolen, also provoking cops does not speak well to your intelligence, quite honestly. So, yeah, the idea of getting into shit with a cop while you're carrying drugs is mind-blowing to me. It's like, how could you possibly think that was a good idea? But he apparently thought it. Yes, Michael, out of the frying pan into another frying pan. Yeah, Catherine, don't draw attention to yourself. But of course, a lot of people take that too far. Oh, that's a good idea, Bury. In these stressful times, play computer games to keep your spirits up. That is an admirable response to these trying times. Yeah, it's some small effort of willpower for me to bloody not have a couple drinks tonight, which I'm not going to do because, you know, it's only Tuesday and I've got to be able to go to work tomorrow. Bureau sort of Stardew Valley. It's a relaxing farm game on the PC. Thanks, Heist. That's a good piece of information. Oh, God. He's in custody. He has a long history of drug possession. Oh, so when cops searched him, they punched through him. Oh, I'm not going to get that. Are they letting you write letters from jail? I'm not joking. Where I went to college in Bathurst, west of Sydney, there was a jail. And I think up until the 70s, it was a maximum security jail. And it was really brutal. And there was a big riot where they burnt a whole bit of the prison down. And then there was found out there was corruption and rampant violence and blah, blah. So all the people there got sacked and it got restructured. And then it was only a medium security jail. And, but it's, you know, it's a couple hours west of Sydney. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere. And most of the prisoners in Bathurst jail were from nowhere near Bathurst. So they were a long way away from their family. And so they never got visitors. And I was at college and, I worked at the college radio station, and the prisoners were allowed phone calls every now and then, and some of them would actually call the radio station and make requests, or they just wanted someone to talk to, and they would ask people to come to visit them. So I'd occasionally visit people in jail. Hello, Tudrick, how are you doing? It is a little while since I've seen you about. So, long story short, as I know, they do let you write letters in jail. Also, one of the weirder ones, this guy who I ended up visiting in jail a couple times, he was telling me how, because, you know, to call someone, they just had to tell the screws the person's name and number. And what he did, he saw a story on the local news. This girl, someone I knew, she was actually doing the same course as me at uni. And he thought she was kind of cute, and they said her name on the news. And then he just found that name in the phone book, and he figured it was the same person. And so when he got to make his phone call, he called her up, and she answers the phone and says hello, and he's going, "Hi, look, don't freak out and hang up the phone, but I'm calling you from jail." How would you like to get that call just randomly at your home? You answer your phone, they say, you know, like, "Is this Mary Jane?" And you go, "Yeah." "Hi, don't freak out, but I'm calling you from jail." It's like, okay. But yes, that's a weird and wonderful. Oh, do I think VD will find you in prison? I don't know what VD will find in prison. I actually don't wish prison. Well, okay, I do wish prison on violent offenders. Drug offenders, okay, even if VD's an idiot with a long history of run-ins with the laws and drug abuse, and God, if he took a swing at coppers, he's getting what's coming to him. That's just stupid. I think he's being sent to jail for being stupid. Yeah, but the number of people who are in jail for non-violent crimes is not good, because jail is a really shit place. Anyone who ever tells you that jail is cushy and jail is spoiling people, they have no idea what they're talking about. Okay, Puri. I'm confused as to what you're referring to. Finding you in jail. I am now inquisitive. How do people find you in jail? Are you a prisoner? Are you a warder? Are you merely a spirit that people discover while they are in jail? Inquiring minds want to know. Oh, right. Bury. Sorry, there's so many of us at Jesus, I forgot, you know. And even the words of VD himself, we can all be gods of our own galaxy. Oh, Dr. Popperbong. He probably will write a letter saying he's converted to Islam in jail. Catherine, I don't know what happens to you in jail if you spout a lot of religious stuff. Marxist campaigning cannabis protests is good because our drug laws are stupid. Yeah. Celtic King, if you're young and in jail, it can be particularly bad. As this guy I knew... Mark says, you want to light up a smoke in the House of Commons. I'm sure they have strict no smoking rules. I don't want you to get arrested, okay? As much as it would be a bit of a lark, it's obviously the old joke about how do you smoke dope publicly without getting caught. You do it like this. You have the joint concealed in your hand. Every time you take a hit and blow it out, you look around and go, is someone smoking dope? I think it's smoke. And you just, because then anyone else who notices it looks around, is someone smoking dope? And they see you going, is someone smoking dope? And so it's not you. And you just sit there and go, and they're just going, is someone smoking? I think someone's smoking dope. I can smell it. I think someone's smoking dope. That's how you get away with smoking dope in public. Bo, you spent 4 months in jail for traffic offences. Oh, yeah, dude. What they get away with. No. Ugh. As I said, having visited people in jail, and the stories are just fuck. This poor guy, okay, he was a real unit. He was a real extreme sort of guy. Like, he was, when he was young and he's violent, like, his mother said she couldn't handle him, like, chucked him onto the state ward system when he was like 12. She said he was too violent, so chucked him into the state ward system, and apparently he was non-stop trouble in the state ward system, and so the day they could kick him out, when he turned 16, they did. They just got shot of him. They didn't want to deal with him anymore because he was non-stop trouble. And then, okay, being a 16-year-old troublemaker in Sydney, what do? He gravitated to King's Cross. And what's everyone doing King's Cross? Oh, well, there's this gear called heroin. That makes life bearable. And so he gets hooked on smack. And it's like, well, where do we get the money to buy more smack? And it's going, well, we do armed robberies. Or it looks like it's a break in Battlestar Galactica viewing time and a little snack being microwaved, just by the by. Yeah, so he's in King's Cross with other miscreants, and they're like, yeah, we support our smack habit by doing armed robberies. And so at like 16, 17 years old, he's a strung out junkie doing armed robberies. And this went on for about a year to 18 months before he got caught. And as he said at the time, he was convicted of 6 armed robberies and sentenced to jail. He was still 17 when he was sentenced. And he said, I didn't feel too bad because I actually did about 13. So, you know, he only got convicted about half the robberies he did. And because it was such a long string of armed robberies, they put him in adult prison. But because he wasn't yet 18, he's in the protection wing of Long Bay Jail in Sydney. And until the day he turned 18. 18th birthday, congratulations, you're a big boy now, you're going into the adult wing. And he thought he was pretty tough and badass and all that. He was 18 and he's quite pretty. And, well, didn't things go badly for him after that? Bigger, tougher, scarier, more brutal guys, and it was non-stop brutality. As he pointed out to me, basically the only way to get away from the people who were beating him and raping him was to be in a hospital. And he had scars up and down the length of his arms, and some really bad ones, like real serious ones going down this one. And he would, you know, cut himself really badly to get put in hospital. And after a while, they wouldn't even put him in hospital for the cutting. They just bandaged him up and put him back in his cell, and then someone would get him again. And then he showed me the scar he had down here, and it was fucking full on. I thought, what, did you stab yourself? And he goes, no, that's from surgery. Because what he would do in a desperation measure, get a bit of wire, like from a paper clip, get 2 straight bits of wire, make them like an X, and then twist them around and around and around, and then hold them flat. So if you let them go, they want to spring out into an X shape. You're like, hold them flat, and the instant you let them go, they spring out into this X shape. So when you get them like this, then you wrap a little bit of sticky tape around them, just enough to hold them, and so it's straight, and then you swallow that. And because it's tight in straight, you can swallow it, and it sits in your stomach, and there's only a little bit of sticky tape, which your stomach acid dissolves. And as soon as your stomach acid dissolves the tape, it springs out into this X shape with 4 sharp points and cuts the shit out of your stomach, and you start vomiting and shitting blood, and you end up in hospital. And because they have to do surgery to get it out, and not little surgery, you end up in hospital for quite a long time. And he did this a number of times over the years. And again, the screws got sick of him doing it, so they would, in the end, they would leave him in his cell for hours, like 12 hours, in horrible pain, just vomiting blood. Yes, there is, you can see the reflection of the ghost. You look like a ghost in the reflection because of your white bathrobe. So yeah, anyone who tells you prison is cushy and prisoners, it's just like a big hotel for them, they have no idea what they're talking about. They are really seriously ignorant. And that's the thing about ignorant people. They just tend to say things louder. I will give my best to AZ Celtic King. Thank you for dropping by. Thanks for keeping us... Oh God, thanks for keeping us updated on VD. And yes, I will probably do a live stream on Thursday, so you might have more information for us then. That's something to look forward to. I mean, I'm just looking at the mail here. On the plus side, actually I had a letter. Oh God, I've dropped it now. Bloody hell. Hey Aussie Brick Chick, how are you doing? I just realized I've actually got a Video Dude letter here that I didn't read. I just sort of started reading one and didn't finish it. It seemed to be a bit of a return to form for him. Yeah, Bury, the good old days when the biggest problem with Trump is being on WWE, being pals with Vince McMahon. Yes. Tragic, really, the farce that the world has become. I often wonder, I mean, you know, we're obviously going to get, it's just going to happen. Not necessarily every presidential election, but we're obviously going to get more celebrity presidents. I mean, you know, Ronald Reagan was originally an actor, then did governor of California, then president. You know, and even like Arnold Schwarzenegger walks into governor of California. He can't be president because of the Constitution, because he wasn't born in America. I've got side note, I don't know if you saw this, but Arnie made a public statement lashing out at the Nazis and white supremacists and what garbage they are, and announced he was making $100,000 donation to the Simon Wiesenthal Foundation, the famous Nazi hunter. The foundation named after the famous Nazi hunter. I mean, that's really sticking one in the eye of the Nazis. That was a nice move. Do I think Joyce will get a by-election? I don't know. At the moment, it kind of looks like Joyce is really screwed. Under the rules, his election's going to be declared invalid. And, you know, after the government ragged on the Greens so much for not getting their paperwork right and losing 2 senators, now it's up to, 3 people in the government getting dragged down by this. It's just, it's such a shit show. And the government only has a 1-seat majority in the parliament. They can't afford to lose anyone. You know, it's absolutely bizarre, the situation we find ourselves in. If they end up as a minority, and everyone else, like, you know, Labor and the crossbenchers, vote a no confidence motion in the government and force another, either a minority Labor government or another election, by all the opinion polls, Labor would shit it in an election, which they honestly don't really deserve, because I don't think they've done enough positive. But their whole line is still, we're not those guys, you know, and that's fairly pathetic in my book. But they just need to do more. That's an interesting phrase, Nicholas. Trump's the elephant man on the inside. I know, he's pretty ugly on the outside. But yeah, I think the true ugliness of Trump is on the inside. Like he's got like a Dorian Gray painting, and the Dorian Gray painting is particularly horrific and bloated and old and disgusting, but then you look at Trump and go, it's not working. And you go, well, it is, because you have no idea how bad he would look without the Dorian Gray painting. Like, yeah, it would be really, really bad. Who looks like a frog from Rocco's Modern Life? We were talking about a few different people. Is it Trump or Barnaby Joyce? Bob Catter. Bob Catter is an interesting, but yeah, they're like Bob Catter's on record, like he wouldn't support the Gillard minority government. He can't bring himself to support a Labor government. But yeah, he would hold the Libs to ransom, and they would deserve it. Bob Catter is such an interesting person, because I seriously disagree with Bob Catter on a lot of things, but I don't think an honest person could deny that Bob Catter seriously has the interests of his constituency at heart, or who he sees as his constituency. I think he's quite blinkered in who lives in his electorate, like saying dumb things like there are no gay people in my electorate. It's like, dude, there are. If you don't believe me, just like download Grindr on your phone and just set it, see how many people you find locally. But as much as I disagree with an enormous amount of Bob Catter's pronouncements policy-wise, unlike an overwhelming majority of politicians from both parties, he has a deep, genuine concern for who he sees as his constituency. I think politicians who are really committed to their constituency are in the minority in either party. I think most people in politics are in it for the sake of power, and because of their ego. And I'm not... Bob Catter has an ego. Bob Catter has an ego. But I do think he's quite genuinely committed to who he sees as his constituency. And that's not a bad thing. But yes, I still, I don't agree with Bob Catter. I wouldn't vote for Bob Catter. But, I can recognise someone who has his own sort of internal integrity, consistency. Safa, the kangaroo on the coat of arms is male. That's an interesting observation. I haven't looked that closely. Does it have prominent testicles? Okay, you just remind me, this is a true story. Years ago, I worked for the travel guide company Lonely Planet. They had their headquarters here in Melbourne. About years ago, this was over a decade ago. And the founders were still around then. We had like this internal communication board at Lonely Planet where you could just talk about anything, like stuff that wasn't to do with work and whatnot. And you're in an interesting company when you're actually having a conversation with the company founder about kangaroos' balls. So we'd circulated this joke because there's this thing, a product that had been advertised on the internet called truck nuts, which you still see occasionally. It's this really quite bizarre thing that some insecure dudes hang off the back bumper of the truck, like balls. And the thing I never understood about them is they might be human size or large for human size, but they're not on a human, they're on a truck. So in truck size, they're really, really tiny balls. I've always found them really bizarre on a number of levels. Truck nuts. But we were sharing pictures of truck nuts on this conversation board, and the Lonely Planet found the person. He's saying like, oh, you should have sent that to the people who put together the latest Australia guide. And I was like, what, don't they have balls? He goes, no, because there was a discussion. The photo on the front cover was a kangaroo on a beach, and the original photo, the kangaroo's balls were really obvious, and they had long conversations about should they leave the kangaroo's balls in or should they airbrush them out for the sake of proprietary. And the company founder was very much in favour of leaving the balls where they be. But in the end, the decision was made to remove the balls from the kangaroo, and he was never happy with that. So like I said, you're in an interesting company when you're having a conversation with the company founder about kangaroo's balls. Well, again, Bury, obviously they could have used Lady Roo, but it was just the picture, like the photographer had got. It was a really good photo of a kangaroo on a beach, like with sand and the blue water and whatnot. And this really good photo just happened to be of a male whose balls were really prominent. It's just one of those things. Like, yes, you could argue if they had a good photo of the female kangaroo, that would have been an issue. But he didn't have an equally good photo of a female kangaroo. The best photo was of a male with really prominent balls. I did see the comment about you're impressed that kangaroos can retract their balls before a fight. Kangaroos can do the weirdest fucking things. Like, every time you think you know anything about nature, a pregnant female can suspend the pregnancy. Like, you know, there's a set period of time a kangaroo pregnancy runs for. If a female's pregnant, but there's a drought, there's no food, it would be a bad season for the joey to be born, she can suspend the pregnancy. Like, she doesn't abort it, it's still, the fetus, kangaroo fetus is still inside her. It just doesn't develop. And when circumstances are better, the pregnancy progresses and the joey is born. I mean, what the hell is that? Just actually having that degree of control over your body. You know, nature's full of weird crap like that. Like, there are frogs that if they get stuck in a drought will burrow down into the mud before all the water's gone, and they'll be, you know, however many feet under earth, and they go into suspended animation, which can last for years. And then when the rains next come and the water penetrates down to where they are, they reanimate and climb up. But yes, the question about the roos, they stay pregnant. They actually just suspend the pregnancy. And when I read that, that just blew my mind. It's like, really? You have that much control over your physiology, you can suspend a pregnancy. And also, kangaroos have a really complex social structure. A lot of people don't realize, you know, they know they're in groups. You get a mob of kangaroos. Kangaroos are social animals. They do work in, you know, social groups, but people don't realize how social. They have a strict, like, hierarchy. And yeah, and you're right, Aussie brick chick, there are frogs that can freeze and defrost. I had that when I was a kid. We caught some tadpoles, and it was still winter, and where I grew up in winter, it could easily get below zero, below freezing in winter. And I had the tadpoles in a jar outside, and the temperature dropped below freezing one night, and it was like a solid block. I went out in the morning, and it was like jar, solid block of ice with tadpoles suspended in it. And I was like, oh, whoops, poor tadpoles. Went to school and whatnot, and it was like a day or so later, the ice had melted, and the tadpoles were swimming around. Like, they'd been frozen solid. But a day or two later it thawed out and they were fine. And I had no idea they could do that. It was a huge surprise. Oh my God, another weird nature thing in Australia, this one a bit threatening. Spiders generally, but funnel webs particularly, if they fall into water like a swimming pool, they sink, they can suspend their body functions. And they're not dead. Like, they'll be at the bottom of the pool like this, and they look dead, and you can poke them and something, they won't move because they've suspended their body functions. But if you, like, catch them, put them in a jar, like with no water, with the lid on, and put the jar in the sunlight so they warm up, spider will come back to life. And particularly in Western Sydney, it can be a real issue in swimming pools. There are a lot of funnel webs in Sydney, and when you get into the bush areas in the outer suburbs particularly, so you have to be careful. If you see this little black fuzz in the bottom of the pool, you don't want to touch it, sort of scoop it out carefully because it could be a funnel web. And I was working once with like a British backpacker. I worked in a call center, and there were a lot of travelers from the UK would work there for 6 or 12 months. And one of them, she's saying on the weekend about, oh my God, we had a swimming pool, and there's a spider at the bottom. There's this big ugly thing that looked like a funnel web, and like my boyfriend got it out and went ooh at me, and then she's saying like, and you'll never guess what happened. And I said, what? It came back to life? And she just looked at me with horror and said, what? I said, did it come back to life? That's what they do. And she said, what do you mean? I said, no, they're just down there, like they've trapped some air, and they're just suspended their functions. And if you keep them out of the water, they come back to life. She goes, no, all I was going to say is he chased me around with what I thought was a dead spider. Are you telling me he was chasing me with a live funnel web? And I went, yep, he was chasing you with a live but suspended funnel web. And I hope he didn't leave it anywhere around the house, because it will come back to life. But yeah, that ruined her holiday, telling her she'd been chased with a live but suspended animation funnel web. I've never actually caught a funnel web in a swimming pool, but I've tested it. I've caught a lot of other spiders who were at the bottom of the pool and put them in a jar, and they just come back to life. Probably not all of them, but I've done it a couple times and had spiders that looked super dead, but put them in a jar and they come back to life. So yes, if you're ever anywhere and like a big nasty looking spider appears to be dead in the pool, there's a fair chance it's not dead. So exercise due caution, because you don't want a pissed off funnel web. Basically, funnel webs are not just venomous. I mean, you call them deadly, but they haven't killed anyone in ages since we'd had an antivenom. Oh, Viola, absolutely. I would dump the dude who chased me with a funnel web, definitely. That's okay, Stephen. I'm like great with scaring you to death. Funnel webs are not just venomous, deadly. They're super fucking aggressive. Like, they get way pissed off at you. They like they hide in shoes and stuff. They like quiet places. A number of people have got bitten because a funnel web had crawled into the leg of their jeans that, like someone had thrown down next to their bed, and, pulled your leg through. And when your leg comes through the leg of the jeans that the spider's sleeping in, spider takes it as a personal affront that you would dare to do that, and psycho attacks you, or they're in your shoe and bite you. So, and I know my oldest brother was a brickies labourer, like worked on building sites. And spiders in the bricks are a big thing, particularly for the type of bricks that have holes in them. Spiders in the bricks are a big issue. But it was mainly, redbacks are venomous, like they're the Australian version of Black Widow. But you only die, no one's died from a redback bite in forever, but you would only die from a redback bite if you had some sort of like allergic reaction, anaphylactic shock, if you were very young, very old, or very sick. But they can make you sick because it is a poison. There's bloody spiders injecting you. You get swelling, you get sick. But your brickies labourer's been bricky labour. He got bitten by redbacks dozens of times, and you get swelling stuff. But you act like, oh, it's no big deal, even though like, oh fuck, that hurts. Oh god, muscle spasms up my arm. But I'm going to be a big tough man and pretend it doesn't hurt. You got bitten by redbacks all the time. But they did actually find a funnel web on site once, and they caught it in a bucket, and then they're going around the pub saying, whoa, look at the spider I got. And they were showing everyone, because the spider's in the bucket, and it's fucking got this, they rear up. They have this really bad attitude where they rear up. And after they've been showing it to people, someone goes, what the fuck are you doing? Oh, no, where's it? Like, don't you know how far those fucking things can jump? That could easily get out of that bucket if it wanted to. At which point, you know, like people almost panic, like the person holding the bucket who's just been told if the spider wanted to, it would just jump straight up on your arm. And he's going, oh no, get out of it. And then I was like, don't drop it, you fucking blah. And caused a near riot in the pub. So that was pretty good. I like that idea, Viola. Moray eels are your fave asshole animals. Well, what do moray eels do besides be big and scary? I've always thought moray eels look incredibly threatening. They do have that big fucking mouth and sharp teeth. But then I see these naturalists on those shows sort of tickle them under the chin and stroke them. But then I also see like they've got really strong jaws and like you would so not want to be bitten by a moray eel. That just that's all kinds of bad. But do they have particular traits, particular behaviours that make them more of an asshole? I'm trying to think. What's funnel webs are real assholes, and they're super fucking evil as far as I'm concerned. Because, you know, they don't have to chase you. Like, most spiders will try and get away with you. Like, you'll always hear Australians telling stories about huntsman spiders and being big and scary. And huntsmans, you know, can be this big. But they're scared of you and they won't... It would hurt if you got bitten by one because they have decent sized fangs, but they're not venomous. But I wouldn't want to be bitten by one because it would hurt. But yeah, psychologically they're scary because they're big fucking... I like them too, Aaron, but they're kind of scary. And there was those pictures recently of people somewhere in Australia who were too scared to go. They had a back door like that and a huntsman like this fucking big was on it. And it seemed to be really pissed off. And at first they thought they could squish it in the door and it didn't work. And it also didn't run away. And it gave them the impression it was really pissed off. Okay, what was this about morays? When you pass, they bite and hold you until you drown. And they don't even eat you after you're dead. Okay, yeah. No, that's a bad attitude. Musical elevator. I've known people who cultivate huntsmen. Like, you know, will feed them, will catch bugs and feed them to the huntsman because they like them. Big bad ads. Hello there. I do remember going on a school excursion with young Mr. Angry when he was a wee lad, like, you know, probably 5 or 6, and they went to an insectorium. This guy telling him all these stories about bugs and whatnot. Guy who clearly loved his job telling all school kids gross stories about bugs and whatnot. And he had stuffed tarantulas, a Malaysian tarantula, and they're fucking huge. He was saying how it was popular in Malaysia to actually encourage these spiders into your house because they eat all the other bugs. You're in the tropics, bugs everywhere. You encourage these tarantulas to live in your house. I think they're either not venomous or they're not aggressive to humans, like humans are big scary and they just try and keep away. But they cultivate them in their house for 2 reasons. One, they'll eat all the bugs. And second, after they've eaten bugs for all they've grown and they're fat, they're good eaten. For those who don't know, like you say, okay, spiders aren't insects, they're arachnids, 8 legs, not 6 legs. But genetically, they're more closely related to a crab than they are a fly. And yeah, like a big, fat, well-fed tarantula is good eaten, apparently. And he took great relish in telling the kids how the families would, you know, grab the tarantula and put it in the pot and eat it. And these guys have really big fangs. And said, and then after the meal, they use the fang as a toothpick. Get out the spider hair that's got stuck between the teeth. So you get this whole room of kids going, ew. And I think his other favourite story he told the kids, saying how spiders grow, because they've got a hard exoskeleton. When they grow, it's too restrictive, and they actually shed it. They shed this outer skin, and for a little while they're all soft and then they sort of stretch out and grow, and the carapace hardens again, and they go through this cycle a few times. And he says, so you may have seen what looks like a spider husk around your house. You've probably seen that. You probably thought that was a dead spider. It isn't. It's just the skin that the spider shed so it could grow. So, you know, next time you're like, if you're around your mum and she's cleaning up and she sees a spider carapace, you can make her day by saying, you know, don't worry, mum, that's not a dead spider. That just means there's a bigger spider somewhere in the house. And yes, that's a like fun story to tell little kids. Little kids, they loved it. Like they do every time he's told some gross bug story, they're all, ew, but you could tell they loved it. And you could tell he loved his job. Like he really, really loved telling gross bug stories to kids. But yes. What's that? Using High Priestess Ice. Yes, look, lots of people. Hey, what do I have here? I was just thinking. No, that's that stupid crap. That's that stupid crap. Wait, look, I dropped a letter down here. Give me a minute. I'll just grab it. So, okay, I've got 2 letters I dropped actually. So, I don't know what that is. Okay, hang on a sec. This one from ages ago that I meant to read. Oh look, it's a little note. Oh my gosh. Oh my god, I've got to find the envelope this came in. Oh, I hope I didn't throw the envelope away. Okay, I better find the envelope or I'm going to feel so bad. Okay, the reason I'm going to feel bad is this seems like it's written by a little kid. It says, Dear AngryAussie and AidSy, I really enjoyed your watching movie videos, especially the Harry Potter films, and was wondering, will there ever be more movie videos? I just want to say Happy New Year and hope you and your family well. That's how long I've had this letter without reading it. I've had it since New Year. From your fan, Liam Curry, please write back to me. And then there's a little note stuck in there. This is a letter from my 23-year-old disabled and autistic son who loves sending and receiving mail. A reply in any way would be greatly appreciated. Cheers. Oh my God, I've got to find the envelope. Oh, I better not have lost the envelope. Oh, I'll be so pissed. Oh, I will feel so bad if I have lost the envelope. Oh my God, I've got all these douchey envelopes from VD. I better have the envelope that came in or I'll be upset. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, I'm going to feel so bad if I don't have this envelope. No, that's another bloody VD envelope. That's the weird Christian group. Oh God. I'm going to have to look really hard. Oh no. I'm going to feel really bad if I don't find this envelope now. Oh. I wasn't expecting that. I knew there was like a little letter that I hadn't read. And the reason I hadn't read it is because I knew it was for me and AidSy, and I'd been saving it for AidSy coming. But he hasn't been here in ages. And so I thought, oh God. Oh God. Oh, I just feel so bad now. Oh, I hope I find it. I hope I find it so I can send it back to him. Send him a mail back. Oh, wow. Wow. Okay, look, speaking of VD spreading, there was a letter that I only just started to read and my internet was really bad on last feed. It's been really good tonight. Shouldn't say that, might jinx it. Okay, I think this is going to be a fun letter. I should read. We got I got as far as reading all this stuff. He's saying the rules for me being baptized. And I love, again, for people being, it starts with, Dearest AngryAussie, this is Video Dude again. I can see your videos, even though you've blocked me from commenting. I thought you might like to know that. Can you still see my videos in jail? That's the big question, VD. Do they let you watch YouTube in jail? Is that spiteful? So, okay, so, yeah, just in time for the crazy letter shell former. Then there's a bunch of stuff about how I should get baptized, which I did read last time, and that's not that. Oh, did you not hear music? For those who didn't know, for people who've just tuned in, video dude got arrested for drug possession and punching cops, and he's in custody right now, and he may or may not get out. Celtic King's gonna keep us posted if he learns any more. So, excuse me, this is the Pepsi come up. All right, so there's a bunch of boring crap about being baptized. So basically he thinks I should make a video of getting baptized, and it'll be good for all of you. And then we get this thing about the baby baptism is not real. He says people should be at least 8 years old before they get baptized. Blah, 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 blah. And he's gonna send me stupid Bibles again. Okay, anyway, this is where we get to the fun bit where it's all for my own good. Bury, I considered this last time. Why does he want me to get baptized? Even if I don't jump into the water naked, I mean, you know, I think he wants like wet clothes clinging to me. That's his thing, I think. There is that joke I've seen, I think it was on Tumblr or something, when someone found out there was black bath bombs. Like your bath bombs are normally flowery colours, but there's an actual black bath bomb when you dropped it in your bath, it foams up all black. And somebody commented how they wanted to go to a full immersion baptism with these in their pockets. So the people doing the baptism thought they were, you know, baptizing a demon or something with all the black ichor coming out. That could work. That could be fun. Anyway, but now we get to the important part of the letter where VD says, I'm sending this letter to you out of a sense of genuine concern for you as a man of a concern for your afterlife. He's honestly not that good with sentences. I'm sending this letter to you out of a sense of genuine concern for you as a man of a concern for your afterlife. Only real men try to follow the teachings of Yeshua. Yeshua is the only proper man, the only person all humans should try to emulate and follow the teachings of. If a person doesn't follow the teachings of Yeshua, then he isn't worthy of anything and do not deserve anything for not displaying proper and correct behavior. As for your afterlife, I wouldn't be a man if I didn't tell you that you would be ending up in hell, a place of eternal torment for those unfamiliar with hell. I do not want you to burn for eternity, not without telling you, so you had a chance to change your ways in order to saved from that eternal torment that Yahweh, the Father of the Saviour known as the Son of God, Yeshua the Christ, is going to give you. But it is your choice as to whether or not you take me up on my offer to help you to be saved. Yahweh is a God of mercy, grace and salvation! Exclamation. If your choice as to whether or not you take me up on my offer to help you be saved. Yahweh is a God of mercy, grace and salvation. Didn't I just say that? I did, I must have missed a line. Go through. If you accept the restored teachings of Yeshua the Christ, live by them the best you can, then remain faithful until the end, then you can receive the glory, the celestial glory, the heavenly kingdom of Yahweh, our God. But you must repent now, be baptized, and endure to the end to receive this. There is no such thing as deathbed repentance. That is because Yahweh requires that people earn their right into the kingdom of the afterlife. If a person does a deathbed repentance, it will be too late for them. Their fate is already sealed and will go to their rightfully earned afterlife. Do not leave this until you are 70 or 80 years old, because you could be dead by then. Oh, I love his little turn of phrase. Don't wait until you're 70 because you could be dead. Okay. complex thinking is not really this guy's forte, honestly. Or simple thinking. I don't think simple thinking is his forte either. So I could be dead by that. I beg you to repent and be baptized now, so you have time to repent and to earn the celestial kingdom, also known as the celestial glory and the glorious kingdom of Yahweh. There are 3 kingdoms of heaven called decrees of glory. There's the celestial kingdom, which is the top one, and where Yahweh lives. The second one is the terrestrial kingdom, where Yeshua lives. Apparently there's some family issues. The third one is the telestial kingdom, where all good, honourable people who did not follow Yeshua and those Christians had the opportunity to learn and apply the principles of the restored gospel, but didn't. You can become a god in the celestial kingdom. It's up to you, Angry. It's nice to know that I have that option. You know, I've looked at, the possibility of following a few career paths, trying to do a few different things with my life. Yeah, being a god. I go to the, next employment agency. What do you want to be? I think I want to be a god. Are there any openings? Have you had anyone advertising for a god recently? Okay, I do not understand you, Angry! Exclamation. That is because I know you know that Yahweh exists and is real, but you do not believe in him and do not follow his son, Yeshua the Christ. Again, he's not good with the thinking. To say in the same sentence, I know you know Yahweh's real, but you don't believe in him. Those are 2 mutually exclusive ways of thinking. I know that you might like the Catholic Church and its teachings and the division in the church, but there are 2 churches. There's the Church of God, also known as the Church of Yahweh. And then there's the Church of the Whore of Babylon. Well, that took an unexpected turn. I didn't know the Whore of Babylon had a church. Good on her. Hey, Joe Will, yes, you're getting a bit of VD glory. If you do not follow the true church, the Church of Yahweh, you will either burn in hell or go to a lower level of glory. Again, that is not a very good threat. You'll go to hell or a lower level of glory. Yes, it's wide open. I know that you, with your current direction in life, will end up roasting in hell for your sin and abominable lifestyle and views. He's, in case I don't know my own views, he's now going to lay out a few of my views. Some of your abominable views are as follows. I think this is going to be good. Well, Burori, I am all for a whore church. The number of my friends who are sex workers, just the idea of a whore church is something I can actually get behind. But anyway, for those who don't know about my abominable views, you're about to be enlightened. Viola, it's called Men's Gallery. Nice. Okay, point the first. You support homosexuality. That's true, I guess. Homosexuality is a sin, according to Yahweh. Yahweh doesn't support the cause of the homosexual. He created everyone, male and female, so that they could reproduce and create more life and form family units. You are disrupting the purpose of Yahweh and his angels. He concluded that it would be a sin if any man or woman to commit any kind of homosexual act! Exclamation. Even if it was for experimentation to see if they would like it. Okay. Who thinks VD just slipped a little confession in there? I think he reveals more about himself than he realizes. Yeah, Joe, there's the question about saying support. I don't know what that actually means. I support homosexuality. I'm thinking, I'm buttressing homosexuality. Please read that again. Okay, this is a bit... He just slipped in here. God says it's a sin to commit any kind of homosexual act. even if it was for experimentation to see if they would like it. I just think he slipped a little confession in there. Doing it to see if the person would like it is worse than doing it because they want to, because if they didn't try, they wouldn't know if they liked it. That's a really special sentence. That is a really special sentence. And your support of AngryAussie being a bisexual person is worse than supporting of a purely gay man or lesbian, because bisexuals are attracted to both men and women, so they can do things to try to overcome their temptation for the same gender. Again, I don't think he quite gets the bisexual thing, particularly not the AngryAussie bisexual thing because he's not less attracted to women when he's having sex with a man. He just kind of wants to do both, quite honestly. Yahweh will put you in a special part of hell. You will be in the part reserved for killers, rapists, and child and animal abusers. I like that animal abusers go to hell. This is how serious Yahweh views the matter and how much he sees it as an abomination. And you only support it. You do not participate in that form of abomination. Just imagine what Yahweh will do to AngryAussie if he doesn't repent that way of life. AngryAussie will suffer worse than you ever will in hell, because a simple act of touching the genitals of another man for fun and pleasure, I think you meant pleasure, or allowing another man to do that to him. That is fucking repulsive and sickening. I mean, we are getting a serious insight into this dude. I love that he doesn't realize what he's revealing. It's so obvious. Anywho, I know you think I'm only joking, but I'm dead set serious. I don't think you're joking. I just think you're a fucking moron. There's a difference between you're joking and you're a laughable fucking moron. You are going to be punished for this abominable act and these abominable views. Yahweh doesn't take it lightly like us humans do. It is Yahweh and his opinions that matter until we go to the celestial kingdom. Yahweh and his commandments are what matter, because we will suffer for all eternity if we ignore Yahweh, his minimal standard for life, and the things he tells us to do. You do not want to piss him off, and you are at the moment. He always makes all these concessions. There's minimal standards, okay? Like, okay, you could be like super saintly, but you know, he's pretty flexible. There's minimal standards you can meet as well. So that's just the first abominable view of mine. The second abominable view of mine, belief in no God. Your belief in no God is abominable, offensive to believers, Yeshua and Yahweh, and also illogical. It is offensive to Yeshua because he suffered and was killed to allow you into the presence of Yahweh. It's offensive to believers because we tried to help you see that he's there, but you refused to. It's offensive to Yahweh because he created the Milky Way galaxy with all of its complexity to show you that there is a God. He also finds it offensive because it's so fucking obvious he's there. Sorry. This is priceless. Oh my God. It's offensive because it's so fucking obvious he's there. He's the creator of this galaxy and he rules over it. That is also why he's offended by your actions of disbelief. It would be less offensive to him if you insulted him on a daily basis for all eternity using the most offensive things you could possibly think of and say. This is why you need to believe him before you die and be baptized for your own salvation and cleansing of sin. Okay, it's better if I just say really offensive things to Yahweh. All right, this is the most offensive thing I can say about Yahweh. Yahweh, video dude is the best you can do. That's the limit of your achievements. I think that's the most offensive thing I could say. Okay. Oh, this is a fun one. My next abominable thing is your absolute refusal to acknowledge a different opinion. Yahweh demands that all those who he has created accept that people have different opinions. You do not do this. You block people on YouTube so you do not have to listen to their different opinion. Blocking people on YouTube is a sin against God, okay? You do tolerate some opinions, but you do now acknowledge their right to have it, which Yahweh has endowed us with, the right to have different opinions and to have them acknowledged and accepted. Yes, Yahweh demands that we follow his standards and live within his opinions on how we should live, but we have to acknowledge and accept and listen to other people's beliefs and views. This is a selfish move on your part. You do not allow your platform on YouTube to share different opinions. You only allow your platform on YouTube, your very channel, to spread the homosexual agenda. Selfishness and a belief that Yahweh doesn't exist, and to teach people to be selfish, arrogant, rude, to hate God, to hate Yeshua, to have people prefer hell over heaven, and to spread the illogical view that we are here because of random chance. That kind of arrogance and stupidity only comes from Satan. My bud, Satan. I can't get over the culmination of his argument is that my worst sin is blocking him on YouTube. Actually, that's really easy to believe. I'm not going to try to overload you with too much this moment in time. So I'll leave this letter here so you can absorb the information in it. I ask that you go to the store, that's the Mormon website, and click on the scripture button and buy yourself, and encourage your viewers to do the same, a copy of the Quad Combination, which includes the King James Bible, the Book of Mormon, the Pearl of Great Price, and the Doctrines and Covenants. People do not need to join the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the Mormon Church, to be saved, like they claim. You just need the scriptures, and the church's website is the best way of getting them. So please do not refuse to buy and read the scriptures. They will bless you and your life, the lives of your family, and the lives of your viewers. I know Yahweh will be merciful if you're obedient to him and his commandments. Oh my God. Oh, that is so special. Oh, that really is a gift from Yahweh, that letter. That is just special. I can't get out of my head though the other letter that I need to write this dude back a letter. Liam. God, I hope I find the envelope. I feel really bad at the moment. It might still be in my... God, I bet I freaking threw it out. No, I'm sure I didn't. I just dropped it. It's really going to play on my mind until I find it. Good question, Mike. Can you get into heaven if you get the scriptures and use them as toilet paper? So video Kodawara Cove. This live stream will not load even after 15 minutes. I'm not sure what's happening with you if you're having problems. I don't think anyone else is having problems. I haven't had any messages on the screen telling me my connection's bad, which is unusual. I don't know if that means neither of my kids are playing video games. Like, they always play the online games. What were their favorites? League of Legends, and they actually have a bunch, but they play team games with their friends. And so I think that was the problem last Thursday night when I had really shitty connectivity because everyone was on the internet at the same time. Ruined the bandwidth, it did. So we'll work on that. God, this bloody letter that I should write back to is really playing on my mind. Oh yeah, Overwatch. They're pretty mad for Overwatch as well, Buori. They Overwatch both on the PC and on the PS4. So I sometimes quite like watching them. Like if they playing on the PS4 on the TV, I don't mind watching. I find it really interesting. Oh, Catherine, you blunt paper. I tell you what, some of these scriptures I've got sent, the paper is really fine. It actually would make pretty good rolling paper, I think. This is because the Bible is such a big book that to get it in a volume this small, it has to be on really fine paper. I've seen smaller, like on rice paper or something, and it's about half the size of this. And even this other one, VD sent the recovery version of. It's also quite fine paper. Probably be good rolling paper. I don't smoke anything, so I won't know. So try that. Ah, I dropped my Quran. That just made me think, has anyone ever seen like the dance music remix of the guy saying, "Dude, you have no Quran"? Yeah, the auto-tune one. I love auto-tune songs, you know, particularly the ones the Gregory brothers do, auto-tune the news and other stuff. But yeah, there's a story, this is from years ago, where someone said he was going to have a public burning of the Quran in the park, and they, you know, to show Islam's evil and whatnot. And there's some people protesting saying he was a dickhead, and he got distracted by the crowd at one point, and some like hippie dude whipped the Quran off the barbecue when he wasn't looking, and then we got interviewed by the news about it later. He's like, you know, I said, you know, he's gonna burn the Quran, and I said, dude, you have no Quran. And he got auto-tuned into this big dance track going, dude, you have no Quran, dude, you have no Quran. I found it humorous. I'm easily amused. But what was another good? Oh, some British guy did from one of those British Nationalist Party. I don't even remember which one it was. One of the British white nationalist groups, where some real fucking units were in this protest, and one of them was this guy. Like, I'm not even joking. I'm not being mean. This young bloke, he wasn't just drunk. To me, he very clearly had some form of acquired brain injury. Whether he'd been hit in the head or it was alcohol abuse, but there was clearly an acquired brain injury, and he couldn't get a sentence out. And he's trying to say why he's protesting, and he can't get anything vaguely sensible out, and talks about Islamic infidels, and then he said, no, they've got Islamic ray guns. He's trying to say Muslim rape gangs, but he's so fucked. He's coming out as Islamic ray guns, as in, you know, laser guns, ray guns. And so someone's mixed him and auto-tuned him to be singing along with this thing. I got Islamic ray guns. I got Islamic ray guns. And again, very funny. But yeah, it's very, very tragic young man there. But it's not as popular. The old auto-tune songs, not as popular as it was a couple years ago. I am quite a fan of the genre myself. But yeah, I think those are two of my favorites. Dude, you have no Quran. No, Joe, I have not uploaded the VD letters, but I will. I'll get my scanner set up, and I'll put up the 4-page epic. That one I just finished tonight, it's really only 1.5 pages. Celtic King said, because apparently VD was working up a 10-page epic letter, and we're never going to see that if he gets put in the joint for his joints. That would be a tragedy. But if he gets incarcerated, he'll have lots of time to write letters, so we might get more. And look, in all honesty, I don't want him in jail. Jail's bad. I mean, he's clearly an idiot. he clearly has some mental and emotional health issues. He's a fucking unit. And a lot of his issues are unfortunately manifesting into hostility to other people. Oh, I just with no context, Viola. I was going, I love cats one. What? Oh, that was the thing. The woman, it turns out she was a comedian who put this joke video up on one of the dating websites, OkCupid or something, where she was an obsessed cat lady. And she's I'm thinking of cats again. And the Gregory brothers did an awesome auto-tune song of the I Love Cats lady. It was, Viola, you're right, that was a very good one. Yes, if you've never seen that, yeah, look up the Gregory brothers or auto-tune the news on YouTube. I think they're very good at it. I really enjoy their videos. They don't make them so much anymore. But I can't stop looking down here because I keep thinking I will see the envelope for this other letter. I'll be really annoyed if I threw that out. I don't know why I would have, but I can't find it, so I'm worried I did. I'll have a proper look later. I have to just stop thinking of it for a while. So, yes, eHarmony, that's it, Viola. The Christian dating website. Don't go on eHarmony if you're an atheist or gay or bi or queer or just in any way not vanilla and white. Oh my God, I'm so glad I don't have to do dating anymore. Like, you know, Mrs. Angry and I have been together over 11 years. We were internet daters. There's a site in Australia called RSVP. That's how we met. So, but I'm so glad I don't have to deal with shit like Tinder, whatnot. Viola, are you asking, can we find them on Facebook? Are you talking about the Gregory brothers? Or probably, actually. Search. I'm sure they've got a fan page on Facebook. Gregory Brothers, Auto-Tune the News. Search for it. You probably will find it on Facebook. Joe got dumped by a letter. Hey, dude, I got dumped on Valentine's Day once. So, you know, beat that. I mean, that wasn't even a serious relationship. Hadn't really turned into an official relationship. But I got told it definitely wasn't going to be one on Valentine's Day. Yeah, Bioria, I think getting dumped over the internet or by text message even is not that uncommon anymore because people are shit. Because that's a shitty thing to do. Oh, okay. This is a conversation I was having tonight. Because it's just a electric shaver ad for men. And it was like, you know, buy now and get this waterproof body groomer. And Mrs. Angry, I know I just jokingly said something about, ooh, you know, is that something you want to get? And I go, well, you know, that's for shaving your pubes, right? And she's like, what is? And I go, well, the waterproof body groomer. It's waterproof. You use it in the shower. It's for people shaving their pubes. What was that, Viola? You dumped someone on Valentine's Day. Wait, was it me? I got dumped on Valentine's Day and you dumped... Did you dump me? Is that what happened? That would be traumatic. Oh my God. I'm just that line from Heist. You got dumped on April Fool's Day and it was very confusing. That would be awful. That would be... Wait, is this an April Fool's joke? That would be awful. I would not like that at all. That's worse than Valentine's Day, I think. That's dodgy. I think I'm gonna sneeze. Yeah, I got a tickle in my nose. I do the old tab sneezing. I could have just done it straight at the camera. That would have been gross and disgusting. Oh my god. Okay, I got a new camera and I think it has a good slow motion function. I should do some slow motion sneezes. Mike, you got dumped 4 times by the same girl. Oh yeah, you've got to start taking a hint at that point. I don't think I've ever got back with someone that I was, after Dumpsville. Except for casual sex. I have done that. I have done the casual sex with an ex. Not a lot, but it has happened. But the reason I brought up the waterproof body groomer for men is I was saying to Mrs. Angry, no, that's for shaving your pubes. And yet another reason I don't want to break up is because from what media tells me and what the internet tells me, I'd have to shave my pubes or at least trim them. I don't know. Guys, is there anyone young and in the dating game or even in a relationship? How much pressure is there on guys to get rid of body hair and pubic hair? I know the pressure for women is almost universal. Okay, 25, no pubes. See, that's what I thought. I thought, particularly if you're younger, the pressure is enormous. I mean, it's just gotten surreal with women to the point where I see online, I see other women attacking women for having pubes. Like, not disagreeing, not saying, oh, I think the shave thing is better, but really quite viciously attacking other women and saying it's disgusting and it's filthy. Saying pubes, natural pubes, are filthy and disgusting. And it does my head in. It's like you go on porn websites, pubic hair is a fetish. Like, they have all the other fetish video categories, and there's a special category for pubes. It's like, how is that a fetish? That is so weird. I'm not a fan of dental floss. Look, dude, it's an occupational hazard. That's all I'll say. The old pube stuck between the teeth. It's not the best thing in the world, but it's an occupational... Oh, Joe, I'm not saying I don't like it. I'm just saying the pressure about it is ridiculous. And Mrs. Angry was quite surprised when I told her that there is increasing pressure on young men now. Viola, I prefer it too, but the world is just weird. Yeah, she didn't realise how much pressure men, particularly younger men, were put under to get rid of body hair. I agree with you, Joe, the pressure is stupid. People should do what they come for. If you like, the shaving or the Brazilian wax or whatever, cool, do it. And they don't, If you want a jungle, go jungle. I don't have a jungle, by the way. I have, what I think is a relatively normal amount of pubes. This is what you wanted to hear tonight. You wanted to hear me talking about my pubes. That's right. You think this is a lot of hair? I'm actually not that hairy a guy, so that's a thing. Joe, some people need a hedge trimmer. I'll be honest and say there are limits to what I would find attractive hair-wise. Full 70s bush. Oh my God, Mike, that just reminded me of a line. One of my favourite music acts is the Hilltop Hoods. For anyone who's never heard of them, they're an Australian hip-hop crew. And if you've never heard Australian hip-hop, you might think that sounds weird, but there is actually a lot of good hip-hop made in Australia. Hilltop Hoods are one of my favourites. You're getting a bit long in the tooth these days, actually, but I think they're really quite good, and they usually have at least one really good turn of phrase in the songs. They're very good lyricists, and in one of their more recent albums, they did actually have the line on one track, I'm gonna beat around the bush like a 70s porn, make you wish that you'd never been born. That was probably my favourite line on that album, beat around the bush like a 70s porn. Gotta love a good turn of phrase. Yes, it's weird how dominated hip-hop in Australia is by white dudes, actually. Oh, nice Pumbiori, giving the Hilltop Hoods publicity. Nice. Yes, but yeah, not all Australian hip-hop is white dudes. You know, you get Briggs and AB Original, Thelma Plum. Even for something different, there's a Sikh dude who, I don't think he's Australian born, but he lives in Australia. Oh God, now my brain's gone blank. The single he put out last year that I really liked was called 1 in 100,000. 1, 2, 3, drop. Oh God, now this is going to annoy the crap out of me. Someone who's got Google, put in Aussie Sikh rapper, as in S-I-K-H rapper. Because it's, oh, L Fresh the Lion. That's what he's called. It finally came back to me. Yeah, for something a bit different coming out of Aussie hip hop. It's a Sikh rapper, L Fresh the Lion. He does some really good stuff. And the one he put out about a year or two ago called 1 in 100,000 I really liked. So yes, there's that. What do I think? What else are we doing? Oh, okay. Now we're just talking about pulp culture and stuff. Hey, what movies have you watched recently? I saw a movie on the weekend called The Big Sick, starring and written by dude who's in the sitcom Silicon Valley, Kamal Najimi. I'm getting his last name wrong. I don't know his last name. But he's Pakistani-born American. And it's basically the true story of, you know, his love life. It was really good. Like, wow, talk about breathing life into the rom-com genre. It was a good date movie. It was date night with Mrs. Angry. We went and saw The Big Sick, and it was very funny, really good movie. And then we had dinner and cocktails, and a place with the awesome name of After the Tears, specializing in Polish food. And their drinks menu is fucking huge. Like, they have a couple hundred sorts of vodka, and a really good list of cocktails and other spirits as well. You know, pulling your phone and going, I've got a twinge in my nose again. Everyone where I work is sick, right? They've all got colds. Everyone's coughing and snorking, and it's gross and disgusting, and it's inevitable that I'm going to get sick too. I keep thinking I'm getting sick, and it goes away. I just realized how late it is. It's after 10. Wow. Okay, oh God, we've been talking for 2 hours. That's why it's that late. Okay, yes. Okay, well, I might give it a, speaking of work and all these people trying to make me sick, I do have to get up in the morning for work, so I will bid all you fair people adieu. I will be back during the week. I may or may not do a, what do you call it, a pre-recorded video. Joe Will, Mrs. Angry is a very big supporter of my videos, and she doesn't mind the language. So, Peter Foot, what does the black community in Australia produce in the music industry? A very big release for the last year was collaboration between two different Indigenous rappers, Briggs and Trials, under the name AB Original. I thoroughly recommend you look that up. AB Original is a really good album. It's called Reclaim Australia, the album. And Briggs's older stuff too, I'm a really big fan of, like the Shep Life album particularly. And Thelma Plum's an Indigenous female rapper. She also sings on, she's a featured vocalist on some AB Original. Oh yeah, Joe Will, the Reclaim Australia thing was a massive piss take on their part. And as they win more and more awards, they go higher up the Google search results for Reclaim Australia. It's a massive piss take and shit stir. It was really good. Yeah, and you do get some other Indigenous artists singing, yeah, I guess sort of mainstream pop rock. I mean, back in my day when I was at college and listening to music, there's people like Rumpy Band, Coloured Stone, Yotu Yindi. But yeah, recent release, I would definitely talk up AB Original in particular, and Briggs in general. Briggs, man, he's multi-talented. He does comedy writing as well. He's written for a few shows in Australia, and he's acted in a few shows, and he's now a writer for the new Matt Groening series, animated series, which is being developed by Amazon or someone. So that was a major fucking score for him. That was huge. So yeah, he's going great guns. But anyway, I am going to bed. Thank you very much for joining me. Peter, a cheerio from Kentucky, my friend. You're right, Joe. He was very good on The Weekly. Very, very funny. That's, if you want to see Briggs being funny, on YouTube, look up a channel called The Weekly. Just search Briggs The Weekly. His segments on The Weekly were fucking hilarious. He was very funny. But anyway, I'm going to go for now. Might have a pre-recorded Wangafat tomorrow, depending what happens. I'll try and come back for another live stream on Thursday. But yeah, one way or another, you'll be seeing on the YouTubes. Oh yeah, look, I know lots of nice thumbs up from people. Thank you. It's always good to hang out with everyone. And if you give me a thumbs up on the way out, that will trick the YouTube algorithm into thinking everyone loves me. So, night-night, everyone. Night-night, Viola. I will see you again soon. Look after yourselves, because I really enjoy our times together. And I'll see you again soon. Bye now.